Oh no, someone's following me. It's a special agent who was hired by my overly concerned parents. If you've ever had this, put pluses in the comments. If not, I'll tell you what it's like. My parents are too caring. Sometimes their care overflowed and crawled out sideways to me. For example, I could never make friends because each of them was a potential pest. And when they got into my first gathering with my first friend and ruined everything, I threw a tantrum. There was such a scandal at home that the windows almost broke. Then I made them promise that they would never follow me again. But the fact is, I knew my mom and dad too well, and I understood that if they themselves didn't follow me, they'd definitely make another person follow me. In other words, they'd hire an agent. Well, a month had passed since then, and I felt like someone was following me, but I couldn't understand who it was. To get my life back a little, I needed a plan, just to come up with something. How to hide from this agent. And I saw the clown walking along the street. Oh, that's right. I have an idea. I went to school in my usual way, glasses and black hair, pants and a sweatshirt, and left in dress shoes, makeup, and a wig. Yes, I decided to radically change my image so it would be impossible to recognize me. And it worked. For a while, I felt that there was no surveillance on me, and I lived the way I'd long wanted to. I walked around, met different people, went to the shooting range to shoot. I simply adored it. I changed my image every day to confuse the agent and not arouse any suspicion. One day I found a blue wig at home and decided to wear it. Wow, it fit me pretty good. I went to the library in it right after school, wanting to hand over books, and then met a guy named Nick. I instantly fell in love with him. My heart fluttered when we talked. He praised my blue hair so much that I almost passed out. We went on a date right after the library and had a great time. Around the corner, I changed and went into the house. Since then, I've worn that wig almost every day so that Nick could recognize me. One evening, I overheard my father scolding someone on the phone. Exactly. The agent lost me every day, and that was exactly what I needed. Satisfied, I went to vocal courses, and when I returned, I entered my room for the wig. Nick and I were supposed to go on a date tonight, but there was a problem. Oh no, the wig was nowhere to be found. Crap, where is it? It was impossible to ask my parents because then I'd reveal myself. What should I do? My date was very soon. Where can it be? I searched everywhere, but I couldn't find it anywhere. The first thing that came to mind was to go to the wig store, but none of those fit me. I was so upset that I sat down on a bench outside and cried. And then I saw something blue in a backpack from a stranger, very similar to my blue wig. My head was clouded, so I just ran for the hunt. The man sat down in the far corner of a cafe, and I went up to him. Excuse me, sir, can I take your bag? I'm sorry, what? Oh, you misunderstood. I just needed to look at this. I grabbed his backpack, and I wasn't going to give it back. We pulled the bag by the straps back and forth, and in the end I screamed, "Just give me my damn wig!" We were approached by a waiter, and you won't believe what happened next. The waiter was Nick. He looked at me and I looked at him. The man spat in anger. "Girl, are you out of your mind? It's not a wig. This is my blue shirt with feathers." He showed it to me and I felt so ashamed. The man left and I lowered my head and tried to leave, but Nick stopped me. "Candy, is that you?" No, I'm not Candy. You're wrong. Candy, wait, what's going on?" Tears welled in my eyes and I raised my head to look at him. This is my real face. Ugly, right? You like Candy with a makeup and blue hair, but this is me. The real me. Nick didn't have time to say anything. I ran home and just found my parents. I screamed that this was all because of them, that they were to blame for everything. Tell me what the problem is. You hired that idiotic agent. If it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be wearing that stupid blue wig. Blue wig? Why do you need it? And which agent? We didn't hire anyone. I agree, we didn't, honey. So, you mean no one was following me? No, I don't think so. Why? Dad, then who was it that you wanted to fire? My subordinate. He's new at work. Damn, it looks like I made it all up myself. Wait, why do you need Aunt Mary's wig? Is it hers? Well, yes, she forgot it at the last party at our house and I threw it away. Wait, what kind of agent are we talking about? Say no more. I couldn't believe I was so dumb. I went out into the street feeling depressed, but there stood Nick with flowers. Wow, what are you doing here? I think I must have offended you in some way. Candy, I like you with or without a wig. It doesn't matter. Is that true? Of course, otherwise I wouldn't have come. So, is our date still on? Hello, everyone. I'm Ida. About a year ago, I was very lucky. My grandmother bequeathed me a decent million amount of money, a company, and real estate. It may seem strange because in my family, I am an adopted child. Yes, you heard right. I have a brother, Jay, mom, and dad. These people adopted me 3 years ago. They treated me well, but then, more than anyone in the world, my step-grandmother loved me the most. She always called me special, just because we had a mental connection. Do you know what that is? We often thought the same way, did things together, we had the same taste in food, and most importantly, I could always feel if something happened to her and ran to help. Since I was older than Jay, my grandmother paid for my studies at Oxford, and I became the best student in the law course. Unfortunately, my grandmother died, but she managed to bequeath everything she had to me. My family was happy and proud of me. I temporarily froze my accounts, cashed out the necessary part, and gave it to my family while I went to London to study. I was gone for 2 years because of the heavy workload, and finally, I came home. They couldn't meet me, but that's okay. By taking a taxi, I went to the usual address, but on the way, Dad texted me that they had changed location. I wondered when they had time to move. And besides, why didn't they tell me about it? The driver took me to a strange, poor area, and I found an apartment in the basement. I was already scared. I thought maybe the driver had mixed something up. But the door opened, my father abruptly took my hand, dragged the suitcases, and me inside. Dad, Mom, what's going on here? Shh, honey, be quiet. We can't be tracked down. Tracked down? What are you talking about? By whom? I'll explain everything to you. Just tell me first, are your bills, are they all right? Well, yes, they're safe. Like grandmother's company, everything's fine. But what happened? Dad had just opened his mouth when someone knocked on the door. Frightened, Jay began to cry, and my fear slowly rose up. Nobody could explain anything. My parents grabbed our hands and we ran out the window, got into an old car unfamiliar to me, and rushed away. On the way, Dad said that everything happened quickly. They were accused of fraud and said they would arrest everyone except me. That's because I'm not a blood child. My parents were accused of major economic crimes, which they didn't do. We were told that nothing was recorded on us, no property and no business, but we lived in a big way and our stories about the inheritance are considered fake because everyone bequeathed to you and we're not on the list. And since we're a family, only on paper. My mother could not continue and I went nuts from the absurdity. Well, what do I do now? I don't know yet, but we'll think of something. But I won't let my family go to jail. If necessary, I'll go alone. No, Dad. Jay burst into tears again, and I calmed him down. No one is going anywhere. I'll think of something. We stopped after only 60 kilometers to take food with us. During this hour, I thought about all the options, but none of them would work. Our phone was also dead, and there was nowhere to recharge in the old car. I went to the toilet at the gas station while my family bought food and water. Before I had time to properly zip up my fly-on-my jeans, I heard my mother scream, "Ida, run!" In a hurry, I ran out of the restroom. We had to leave the car and go to another one. We were being chased by strange people in glasses and black suits. My heart almost burst. "What the hell is this?" I yelled, and then I realized, "Where is Jay?" I asked my parents, and my mother was crying. "They kidnapped him. What the fuck? Go back! We must get him back! They can't do that! They violated all our rights!" "Wake up already, Ida! What the hell are your rights? We were kicked out, we're on the run, we were accused of what we did not do, and now the law is taking us into their own hands." I'll ransom Jay. How? I will rewrite everything that I have. I'll give it to them. But it's all yours, honey. It doesn't matter. They have my brother. Let them take it. It should be enough to let him go and stop the persecution. My parents asked me several times if I was sure, but I was more certain than ever. It should have worked. Dad dialed someone's number and we drove back towards that gas station. We had an appointment in the middle of the highway, away from the road itself. When we drove into the wasteland, I began to worry. They kept Jay in handcuffs like a criminal. I got out of the car and my father went to negotiate. A minute later, he brought me papers and with trembling hands, I signed everything. I did it. Now let him go. Stop chasing us. Jay was released, but then something unbelievable happened. My little brother calmly approached me, smiled, and began to clap. Mom and Dad followed. What? What's going on?
Thank you, Ida. I finally get it why my mother loved you, for simplicity and kindness. But to be honest, I never shared those feelings.
What do you mean? Mom?
I'm not your mother. That old frog left everything to you. And who are you anyway? Our son was left nothing because of you. We only took you on because Grandma wanted to have you. She saw potential in you.
Huh. I couldn't believe it. All this turned out to be just a fake. My parents were indeed scammers, but their only target was me. What do you think, guys? I returned to London on the rest of my savings, but how do I live on? So far, I have no idea. Maybe you have some ideas?